Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege and honor. I'm Anton Bredel. I'm the Provincial Chairperson of the Democratic Alliance in the Western Cape. I'm quickly going to introduce the people on the podium. On my left-hand side, on this side, Dan Platu, also MC for Safety and Security within the Western Cape. Next to him is my colleague, Minister Alan Winde, is the MEC for Economic Opportunities within the Western Cape. Next to him, our National Leader, Mmusi Maimane, thank you for being here, National Leader, and to his right, it's then my colleague, Minister Albert Fritz, also the Deputy Leader in the province. There's an empty chair, as you can see. We just await our provincial leader, my colleague, Minister MEC of Housing, Bongi Madikizela. He's on his way from the airport, so he will join us shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my privilege and my honor to hand over to our national leader, Mmusi Maimane.
Sanbonani Dumelang, Kuyamore, Molweni. It is my great privilege to be able to come and address you here today. It's great to be here in the province of the Western Cape, and I see the weather is certainly filling up our dams here, which is a great thing in addressing the weather challenges that we faced in this particular province. It's good to be here with members of parliament, members of the media, members of the provincial executive, and also to our members of the DA who are here. Fellow South Africans, I think it's now common cause that where the DA governs, we demonstrate to all the people of this country that there is a remarkable difference in how we govern. We show the people of South Africa that it's possible in a South Africa such as ours to advance the dream of freedom, a fairer society, opportunities for all the people, and ultimately ensuring that we embrace a crucial value of diversity. This vision is best encapsulated by the idea that we want to build one South Africa for all. South Africa upon which all our people can be able to find opportunities. And in fact, in everything that we do, our pursuit always in government is to make a difference to the people of the country. Is to ensure that our future in South Africa is a shared one. It's one where all our people can prosper, where our people can find work. And that's why, when we are here today, always give people a better, a different future. In this province and in this city, voters have chosen that future. They've worked hard to realize that even in this government, we've shown that wherever we govern, we still run the best governments in the country. It is demonstrated really by the fact that the DA run some of the best run metros. It is demonstrated by the fact that here in this province, we have governed for the longest. The DA governments in the Western Cape and in Cape Town stand head and shoulders above any other government. Let me welcome the provincial leader of the Western Cape. I know you've had to travel far, so I'm grateful that you are here. We've demonstrated that by showing the people of this country that, in fact, we stand head and shoulders above every in delivery records. We've shown that where we are, we deliver jobs for the people of South Africa. We've demonstrated we give clean audits, and we deliver for this government, and we show that in fact from education to healthcare, from land reform to infrastructure, from development, we've demonstrated to the people here that we ultimately ensure that this government sets a benchmark above all other governments. Fellow South Africans, we dare never forget the nature and state of where this province was at. Only up until a recent while did we see that there were many challenges here in this province. Yet this government, led so ably by the Premier of the Western Cape, currently Helen Zille, and welcome, we've shown the fact, we demonstrated the fact that we could bring a change. This is a province that has shown that even last year, not a single government department in ANC governments received clean audits. Yet in DA governments, departments receive clean audits. We've shown that matric results are an improvement in our province, and we show we give more access and benefit for more people. We've demonstrated the fact that business confidence can be increased in this province. This is the work that we do. And whilst things are not perfect, we realize that. But we want to continue to work hard to show the people of this country that actually, where you build a capable state, actually things can develop. And we can build a government that provides work for our people. And within a year under the DA government, since we took over, 7 departments have received clean audits. And since then, the gap in the Western Cape and the rest of the country has widened. In the last financial year, the provincial government achieved 80% clean audits. The next best was in Gauteng, which was barely on top with about 52%. Fellow South Africans, it's also become very clear that unemployment in this province is low. Investment is up. And if you want to start a business, I'd recommend the Western Cape to you. Life expectancy for men is up from 59 to 66, and for women it's up from 64 to 72. Services work. We invest tremendously in public transport, we build infrastructure, we've improved schools, we grow the economy, and now we've managed to do it all through a global financial crisis, even the worst drought known in the last decade. It is no secret, the Western Cape stands head and shoulders above any other province. And most importantly, this is a place where the economic boom has been experienced in the country. I don't think anybody of us, we recognize the fact that the country faces a recession. And that's why in a country such as ours, it's important to build a capable state that can deliver for all the people. As I've highlighted, this DA government is not perfect. This province is not perfect. There's still a lot more work to be done. We've still got a lot more work to do in making sure that for citizens of this province, we make sure they are safe. Which is, for me, having read the recent crime stats, makes me worry and makes it something that is of deep concern to me. Here, the national government needs to do more to ensure that the ratio of policing and citizens is improved. It's not good enough that our people go to bed at night worried about whether they'll be a victim of murder, of rape, of the crime that takes place. It is a deep and a profound concern for me that even still today, that's some of the highest murder rates occur in this province. So we need the best government that will take on the national government to ensure that we address the situation. 6 million residents in this province, simply for them, count on the DA for saving them more. And we have to prove to the other 50 million South Africans that we're the only alternative. what, without doubt, is that, ladies and gentlemen, it would be fair to say that I am here to introduce to you the Jobs Premier of South Africa. Mr. Premier has delivered more jobs than any other, well, a Premier candidate who has introduced more jobs than anyone else in the Ministry of Economic Development. This province has expanded its unemployment rate at 22.5%, is now more than 14% below the national average. And for this simple reason alone, you are well correct to call Mr. Windy certainly the Jobs Premier. He's done so by removing red tape, he's done so by investing in the right infrastructure, and ultimately he stands by the principle: if you eradicate corruption, you offer policy certainty, you can ensure that the economy grows. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, Alan Windy's track record is one where he's introduced 640,000 new jobs under his watch, benefiting every community. He's passionate about internships, particularly for young people who need work and experience to get their foot on the jobs ladder. And I believe with a track record such as this, South Africa faces a new challenge. And I want, at the end of 2019, when we go into the elections, let's compare jobs record for all Premier candidates coming up in South Africa. Ultimately, his team is going to do everything possible to increase the vote here in the Western Cape, to ensure that we govern with an outright majority, and ultimately continue the work that we've done here. I also, along with that, want to introduce another proud South African, one who served our party with great distinction, even here in the legislature. But he's now availed himself through a very competitive process to stand as mayoral candidate or mayor in the city of Cape Town. Ladies and gentlemen, after much deliberation in the party and a very good process, it also gives me great privilege to introduce to you the next mayor of the city of Cape Town, which is none other than Dan Plato. Dan has demonstrated incredible commitment and integrity in the community. He brings a wealth of experience. He served in the city before. He's also been serving in areas Eidsig and Ravensmead. He's continued incredibly in his work around social upliftment and poverty alleviation. And as you know, Dan has already served as the mayor of Cape Town. He's served with distinction, and he's left the city of Cape Town on a high note, with part of his team being pivotal in hosting a very successful 2010 World Cup, and the Cape Town having the best run city in South Africa. He's gone on to become the Provincial Minister of Community Safety, and ultimately we see he's continued his fight in fighting against crime, making sure our people know that if anyone is going to be an activist to make sure there's more policing, that there's safety in communities, Dan is that. He's implemented innovative new crime fighting projects in this province. And in fact, if anyone walks the talk, is in the streets, Dan Plato, has been that. He's introduced an incredible program on walking the bus program to keep children safe in our communities. And for 8 consecutive years in his department, he's received a clean audit, and now for 3 years in a row, he's been nominated as the best run provincial department in South Africa. Speaks only of the incredible muscle and team that Dan brings to the city of Cape Town. I know, in fact, he will put his heart and soul into making sure this city runs well, that he loves so much. He will unite, he will lead, and ultimately he will deliver. And I'm sure you'll join me today in wishing him the best of luck in his new journey, in a not an entirely new role as Mayor of Cape Town. So fellow South Africans, everybody that is here, this is why the DA is the only alternative in South Africa. We're a party that believes in the dream of one South Africa for all, and I'm grateful to introduce to you 2 candidates who have served with great distinction, one who will serve in the provincial legislature, and another now who will serve in the city of Cape Town, in none other than Alan Windy and Dan Plato. And with those remarks, I want to thank you and certainly look forward to an incredible campaign. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to our national leader. Ladies and gentlemen, to the media, we're now going to open up for questions and answers, and then we will also have a session for personal interviews. I'm going to number you as you put up your hand, so just remember your number, please. Anybody who wants to ask a question? Yeah. One. Anybody else? 2, 3. That's the questions. I'm going to start at 1. Varda.
The question is to the leader. Obviously, there's been lots of confusion following his announcement that he's thinking about entering the race. It caused an uproar in the city of Cape Town. I don't know if it was for the better or the worse, but maybe just briefly on that aspect, what changed or played the role in changing your mind? Secondly, to the new Premier candidate, just still talk a lot about race. What makes you perfect to rule everybody? Thank you.
Okay. 2.
Thank you to Mr. Maimane. You mentioned in your address that this would be the best, Western Cape is the best to take on, to use the word take on, national government. Is there an adversarial relationship between the government of the Western Cape and national government? And then what happens to cooperative governance then?
Good morning, Jan Geiber, News 24. I would like to get more insight into the process that was followed for selecting the Premier, given what has happened over the past week. If you can explain what steps were taken since the announcement was withdrawn, that you were interested. And secondly, what was the consideration at each stage? What was the thinking behind each step? Thanks.
My question is, there will be 2 vacancies in the provincial government. When will they be filled?
Thank you. The last question. Did you get the last question?
Let me respond to the first, and maybe it might help join the 2 questions. Firstly, the DA's constitution makes it possible that the leader can stand in any list across the country. The request was made for me to consider standing. And I think it's fair enough, because I'm animated by ensuring that the DA grows all across the country. It's a very crucial aspect, and I want to make sure we do well here in the Western Cape, in Gauteng, in the Northern Cape. And equally so, I think what persuaded me, which was the question, was about making sure that we continue our national project. It's a very important one. It's also crucial to make sure that as we campaign right throughout, whether in KZN, Gauteng, Northern Cape, everywhere, that we meet those strategic goals. I have a job. My absolute animation is to build that one South Africa for all. And it will be something that I will never stop pursuing, and it's something that I will give my life to. So certainly, I have absolute confidence in the candidate that we've chosen. The process was a rigorous process. Someone asked me a process question. In the DA, here's what makes the DA an incredible organization. The DA is incredible in that we open up public service, and I just want to clarify the word, not public rulership, there's no such thing. Public service, we open it up to everybody. Let me give you a very good example. Herman Mashaba wasn't active in politics, but when the opportunity was presented for us to go campaign in Gauteng and in Joburg, we said, Herman Mashaba, he put his name in the ring and he could do it. This is not about saying whatever role you play in the party is an automatic reward for you to go and go into public service in whatever role that is. That's why in the DA will always go through that. And the process is such that anybody can put their name on the table. We've asked each and every candidate to present for us a plan for government. What would it look like in the next number of years? And I must be honest, we were spoiled for choice. We had 3 we had 5 candidates who stood here. 6 candidates who stood here. The 3 that I'll speak about are the ones who were ranked the highest in Bongi Nkosi, David Mania, and Ellen Windley. Presented incredible plans about the future of the Western Cape. What would it look like? Those are all assessed independently. They all appeared before a selection panel which interviews and speaks to all of them about what the future would look like and what that means. And I think having gone through the process, that process delivers an outcome. And that outcome was Ellen Windley at the top of that process. And I'm grateful for the fact that even the 2 candidates who are here said, we respect it, we stand, here's the person who came top, and we'll support them going forward. Which I think is what makes the DA what the DA is. We don't say, if you fulfill a particular role in the organization, you must then go and serve it in government. We want to separate party and state to make sure that in the state, let us get the best plan, let us get the best vision for government and take the matter forward. So that was in essence the process, and that's what for me is a very important thing that we always safeguard in the DA. Lester, you asked the question about competitive cooperative governance. Now the Western Cape is part of the national framework, it's part of the South Africa, and it's proudly so. It works hard. Our constitution defines not tiers of government, but spheres of government. And those are all mandated from the constitution. The constitution of the Republic of South Africa says the province does this, the city does that, and national government does this. Now in cooperative government, you have to ensure that each sphere of, or each sphere of government fulfills its mandate. If national government is mandated to provide bulk water supply, it has to provide bulk water supply. And if it fails, we must challenge that. You can't say in the interest of cooperative governance that you must absorb the failures of another sphere of government. You must ensure, sorry, this thing is, there we go. So you mustn't absorb because you are not constitutionally mandated to do that. Just like a province can't run the defense. The province also doesn't run police. And so when I say we've got to take the fight more, we've got to stand strong, but that, what I mean is, let's ask the national government to do its job, because it's in the constitution for it to do its job. And I think part of cooperative governance is saying, in the interest of citizens of Nyanga and Khayelitsha and Gugulethu, where we're finding incredible crime hotspots in Levendale and Mitchell's Plain and many communities, national government must do its job in making sure that the proportion of policing and residents is increased. So that's a constitutional framework, and I think the Western Cape government must lead that fight to ensure that the people of the Western Cape can know that they live in a safe community, which is what I would want for every citizen in this country. I don't know, there's a question for you.
Thank you very much, Warda, for that question. I think you said what makes me perfect to rule. Well, first of all, I want to say that I am really humbled. I am honored that my party has given me this opportunity. And I say I'm humbled and I'm honored, but I think it is a huge opportunity, and it is something that I will put my full weight behind. But it is not about ruling. It is about putting a team together. I think in the past, and as a government, I think in the last 10 years, we have really shown that we have built the foundation, we have built the governance, we have then taken this province to different levels. The leader, thank you very much, talking about the jobs created, but I think in all portfolios in this province, lots and lots of work has been done to really make this province a different place. Now, this privilege that's been given to me and this honor that's been given to me today starts off with a campaign. Because, of course, you can only deliver once you've won an election. So we are going to have to crisscross this province with a team, and I say a team again, It's not about an individual, it is about putting teams together. I think I've shown in my own portfolio that that's what it is about. It's about teams. And we will take the excellent work that the DA has put together and achieved in the last 10 years and build on that to really make differences. There's a lot of work to still be done out there in the Western Cape. And I will definitely make sure that we put that team together, that we fight this election to get a better percentage than we had the last time around, that we build on that track record, on that foundation, and we actually make this an even better place to live, to work, to play, to go to school, to live your life out as best as you can in the opportunities that government and the private sector together can create.
So, Yanyan, to your question about vacancies, I mean, obviously there's a, you know, this microphone is ungovernable. I think what is going to happen is that obviously the process for filling of those vacancies will be that I'm aware of at this point in time. And so that process will begin in the same way. We'll open it up, make sure that
Which government?
seasons changeover is happening already. I think what's going to happen is that we'll fill out those vacancies. That process will begin almost earnestly, and then it's a list process. So we'll make sure the best candidate then goes on into whatever sort of government that we're discussing. So that was a process question. Take one last one.
Last round, any burning questions? 1, 2, 3, 4. And we then close the questions, and then we will arrange 5, and then we will arrange one-on-ones after that. My 2 colleagues, Anthony, will help you with the one-on-ones. Okay, 1. Where was number 1? Jason.
Can I go?
Yeah.
I didn't see any female candidates in this process. Thank you.
Jason from the Argus. I didn't see any female candidates in this process. I just wanted to know, maybe you as a leader and your leadership collective, did you guys perhaps motivate more females to take over? Or